Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ohio State Primetime Live here at Ohio State, the voice of college football. I'm your host, as always, on a Monday at 7 p.m., but we're doing a little bit early. Today's 5:30. My name is Garrison Gaddy here with you to talk about Ohio State football and everything else going around the college football landscape. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Also, check out our website at www.vocfb.com, where you can see the schedule that we have throughout the week. And also, check out the awesome writers that we have that keep you up to date with what's going on in the sport for all your programs, whether it be the Buckeyes, the team up north, Oklahoma, Texas, Oregon, North Carolina, even. We have it all here for you. Well, everybody, it's been a hectic week, as we all seen, or a hectic week and a half now, going around in college football. But let's get some Ohio State stuff here. Of course, the award winners, AP All-Americans, things of that nature. We're all going to talk about some injury rumors for Ohio State also that we're going to talk about here later in the show, and how that can affect Ohio State, whether it be positively or negatively. But first, let's go ahead and start with the award winners. First, I want to say congratulations to everyone that won their awards, but specifically shout out to the Ohio State Buckeyes that were there as finalists. Of course, we all saw Fernando Mendoza win the Heisman. I thought he gave an awesome speech. It's hard not to like that guy. It really is. But I thought he gave an awesome speech at the ceremony. And shout out to Julian Sand. Uh, I think it gets kind of lost when it comes to Julian, just how uh, great it is and awesome it is for him to be in that position to win the Heisman ceremony in his first year starting as a redshirt freshman. Uh, on the stage when Ryan Day was with him, I thought he summed it up perfectly. He said, "This is Julian's first year playing football, and to see the way he's taken this first year with everything that comes with being the quarterback at Ohio State and handling it with humility." There you see Ryan Day sticking to that humility word, man, and you can honestly see where he's trying to lead the program now. But says he's got a lot of football ahead of him. Facts. I'm really proud of him, and I think us as Buckeye fans, we should be too. Julian, from week one, uh, especially with everything that was going around Ohio State and the questions that were around the program and the football team, and also Julian Sand, and whether he was actually the guy for Ohio State, and myself and a lot of other people, we were really confused by that because that's who Nick Saban wanted to be his quarterback. And of course, when Nick Saban retired, he came to Ohio State. And from the first game against Texas, where Ohio State didn't really open things up, because they didn't have to, or one, they didn't have to. Two, there was a lot of situations where we are pinned back behind our 20 or even our own 5 or 10 yard line where you just wanted to play it safe. But in that game, Julian did everything he had to do. I remember coming out of that game, I was really confident in him because he didn't put the ball in harm's way. Uh, didn't do anything honestly wrong. He made the right throws, but you see that as the season went on, he starts to hit his deep passes. One of the more accurate and efficient deep throwers in the game of football this season, college football this season. His accuracy, of course, right now he's still in the lead to become the all-time leader in college football in passing percentage or in completion percentage. Um, I thought he had a wonderful season, and to be in that position where everyone else in that room, I mean, not Jeremiah Love because he's a running back, but with Fernando Mendoza and Diego Pavia, to be who are tenured guys, veterans in college football, that played a lot more football than Julian has. For him to even be in this position, man, just completely proud of him, like Ryan Day is. And as of right now, Julian Sand's number one right now in the odds to win the Heisman next year. And number two is Jeremiah Smith. So yeah, I just want to congratulate him on that. But Caleb Downs, uh, he wins the Thorpe Award, and I think a lot of people saw this coming. Um, Me personally, I thought there might have been, you never know how the voters are gonna think, you never know what they're gonna do, but Caleb Downs won it. First Ohio State Buckeye since Malcolm Jenkins to win the award, and wow, let's just go over Downs' career so far because, well, first of all, I will say this: congratulations to you, Caleb. It's well deserved. You probably should have won it last year also, but uh, one of the more probably the most integral part of Ohio State this season and has been. But specifically on that defense, he's the quarterback out there. Igman Nosen said early in the season they call him Coach Downs. And it's really cool when you watch the All-22 film, you can see Caleb is pointing everywhere for the guys to go and telling them how to align themselves in the secondary, and it's impressive. Honestly, I'm more impressed with that than I am his own play. Some people, they try to stat watch him, and honestly, you're stat watching a safety. That shows exactly what your football acumen is. But man, what he does back there, it's amazing, and he's been outstanding this season. And I want to have a conversation with everybody because I think I posed this question before the season started, and I asked everybody, if Caleb Downs goes out there and wins the Thorpe Award, do we then name him, or does he have a case to be called the greatest safety in Ohio State history? Of course, for everyone that's older, the first name you're going to think of is Jack Tatum. And then who actually used to have the safety award named after him until 2008. 2018 was the last year. I think Grant Delpit won that season. And then for me in my lifetime, the name you're always going to pick up is Mike Doss. Of course, Mike Doss, part of the 2002 National Championship team. And we're going to go over a few of the accolades here because this is where I think it's a really good conversation to have. So Mike Doss was first team All Big 3-time first team All Big Ten, Big Ten Co-Defensive Player of the Year, and then 2002 unanimous All-American and a national champion. And when you get to Caleb Downs, and I'm not going to count this because he did this at Alabama where he was all SEC as a freshman there. First team, I believe. But at Ohio State in these 2 years, he's been a 2-time first team All Big Ten, 2-time Big Ten Defensive Back Player of the Year. This year he got named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Second team All-American last year, and then this year, unanimous All-American. Won the Lot Award, which goes for not just your play on the field, but also who you are as a person, what you do in the community. Then he wins the Jim Thorpe Award, and then he's also a national champion. Now, I will say this. It is a crime that Mike Doss never won that award, the Jim Thorpe Award to be exact. To be an All-American for 2 years, and then also a unanimous All-American as a safety and not win it, I think everyone would agree with that. But he doesn't have it. I think right now because I think the only thing that Mike Doss would have over him is a three-time first team All Big Ten. Of course, Caleb isn't going to have that. Caleb is a junior right now, plays freshman year at Alabama in the SEC. But man, when I look at the accolades that he has, and also that national championship part does help a lot with him going in terms of when you put his name up with Mike Doss. In my personal opinion, I do believe that Caleb Downs is now the greatest safety in Ohio State history. Possibly the best safety in Ohio State history. Also, depending on how you feel about the guy's play when it comes to specifically going against Mike Doss, because Mike Doss is a safety. If you're young and you didn't get to watch him play in those early 2000s with those Jim Tressel teams, Mike Doss was everywhere. Honestly, he kind of Caleb Downs reminds me of Mike Doss and just the way he plays. Hard hitter, playmaker. Very intellectual, smart on the field. Just another coach out there. But yeah, man. Shout out to Caleb Downs, man. He probably would never say this himself, but I do believe him to be, after winning that Jim Thorpe Award, the best Ohio State safety of all time, the greatest Ohio State safety of all time. And truth be told, and I guess one thing that does hurt his case, and this is a team accolade, but not winning the Big Ten. In his 2 years here at Ohio State now. But, hell, if the Buckeyes were to go out and win the national championship, go back-to-back, man, it would almost be impossible not to put his name right there. So again, shout out to Caleb Downs, who, like I said, I personally believe he's the best safety ever played in our program, and I think that's a huge accolade for him. Even to be in the name of guys like Tatum and Doss is is impressive in itself. But I think just what he has been able to accomplish here in the last 2 years at Ohio State is just so impressive, man. And the stats speak for themselves, the accolades speak for themselves, the play speaks for itself, and him as a young man speaks for even to a greater account of him. So yeah, shout out to him right there. Then I will say that there were some snubs, I believe. First, I'll start with Arvell. I won't say there were complete snubs, but all right. Arvell Reese loses the Buckeyes Award. He was a finalist. Jacob Rodriguez, of course, wins it. Now, I will say this. It was almost impossible for Arvell Reese to win that award just simply based off of what Jacob Rodriguez did all season. Jacob Rodriguez had over 100 tackles, had 60-plus solo, and like 4 interceptions, a lot of forced fumbles. I mean, the guy was a game wrecker all season. And truth be told, you could make an argument that she probably should have been in New York City as a finalist, and probably should have won the Heisman. I'll be honest with you, this kind of reminds me of the Ndamukong Suh year, and Ndamukong, he still went to to New York City as a finalist. But I thought like that year was very clear that he was the best player in the country. Now for Jacob Rodriguez, of course, you probably can't say that, but the stats show for themselves. I mean, even including Julian Sand, this is one of the lesser years for the Heisman. But I'm not gonna be like that idiot Desmond Howard and say they should just cancel it and nobody should they shouldn't hand out the award this season. Someone has to win that award, and also the game is about stories, right? But yeah, I thought that if you look at guys like Fernando Mendoza, he has a great story, especially with him being at Indiana. But yeah, so Arvell Reese doesn't win the Bucks Award. Then Caden McDonald didn't win the Outland, which goes to the best interior offensive or defensive lineman. Spencer Fano from Utah, also tackle from Utah, wins it. Now this right here I will count as a snub. Caden McDonald was the most dominant defensive tackle in college football. Now, Spencer Fano, I don't know if I would call him the most dominant offensive tackle in college football, but I know what Caden McDonald was. And I also think it's more clear cut to pick out a defensive tackle than it is. A defensive tackle than it is an offensive tackle. Also, yeah, maybe because there's stats that you can look up for defensive tackles you can for offensive tackles. Of course, for offensive tackles and offensive linemen in general, it's probably the only position where you don't find it. You got to go to places like I can't even think of Pro Football Focus to go even just see how good someone is playing. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Caden McDonald should have won that. And then shout out to Aaron. Appreciate you for being here, Brian. I see you also in here. But says Mekhi Lemon was shocked he won it, and he should be. He should be. Jeremiah Smith. I'll put, all right. I don't understand how someone can win the receiver of the year, the receiver of the year award in his own conference against Mekhi Lemon, and then when I saw Jeremiah Smith finish 6th in the Heisman rankings, like when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, then he's definitely going to win the Biletnikoff Award. Simply because Mekhi Lemon's not in the Heisman voting. He wasn't top 10 in that. Jeremiah was. On top of that, let's be very clear here. We all know who the best receiver in college football is. And, for a lot of USC guys, they want to point out the stats. When Marvin Harrison Jr. won the Biletnikoff, He didn't have the best stats in the nation as a wide receiver. Uh, so I so I didn't understand why. But the reason he won is because we all knew who the best receiver in college football was. It wasn't even discussion. Everybody knew. So I'm really confused on why when it comes to Jeremiah Smith, for the second year in a row now, but even more so this season because of where he finished in the Heisman voting. How do the Biletnikoff voters then not give him the award? That doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, man, and I don't feel bad for Jeremiah. Of course, we all saw. I don't know if everybody saw the video he posted of after losing it, and he posted a video from. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Paid in Full, but when Ace, uh, he loses his son's his little boy Sonny, and he's basically telling he's about to be on some murder shit, and he's about to anybody that ever looked at him wrong, anybody that owes him money, basically say he's coming for blood. And but on the back side of this, right? I think this is really cool because and these weren't the only awards that Ohio State players were up for and they didn't win. Of course, Julian was up for a lot of awards and didn't win those, like the Maxwell, because of of course, if you're gonna give a quarterback the Heisman, you're gonna give him the other awards that he can also go for against other quarterbacks. But I really like this because this is gonna feed the guys. This is gonna feed them ammo, some ammunition, some want to going into the playoffs. Of course, you still a lot of awards didn't get won, didn't win the Big Ten championship, but the ultimate prize is still there. The national championship is right there for you. All you gotta do is go take it. 3 games to do it, and we're gonna talk about later in the show about Miami and Texas A&M. Just for a little bit. We'll probably dig deeper in that next week. But I really or later in the week. But I really like this for the guys because it wasn't like they already weren't focused. But sometimes you just need that little bit of oomph. When you're trying to go win a championship. And last year it was losing the game against the team up north. This year it's a multitude of things. Losing the Big Ten championship, being snubbed on some awards you thought you should have won, and also I don't think the guys really care. I mean, again, Ryan Day said about a month ago, if he ever thought that guys care more about those awards than they did for the team and winning a championship, he would tell the social media team stop posting that stuff about for the Heisman and other awards. So I'm very confident in this team coming out of this. I look forward to seeing them play. It's a long time till we get to see them play. Don't like waiting 3 weeks, basically a month to watch the Buckeyes. Plus, I'm sure you guys don't, but that's that. And again, shout out to those guys for being even in the position to win those awards, and shout out to again Caleb Downs for winning the Thorpe Award. Next, the AP All-American list. It came out today. First team, second team, and third team. I've actually been really excited to talk about this because I want to see, after all the other All-American lists came out, whether it be the PFF one, which, I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to today. Also, on threes. This is the one I really care about because the AP is is probably the most important one. So, on the first team, Jeremiah Smith, Katie McDonald, Arvell Reese, and Caleb Downs. Well deserved. I think that we can see all three of them are going to get that. Jeremiah Smith, of course, the best receiver in college football, had a great season. Katie McDonald, the most dominant defensive tackle in the country. Arvell Reese, an alien. Just a complete alien. And throughout the season, I just remember before the season started, man, everybody was wondering, was Ohio State going to do that defensive tackle spot, especially after losing a first-round pick and Tyleik Williams, and then Katie McDonald comes in this season and outperforms him. Katie McDonald was better than him this season than Tyleik was last season. Not by a lot, but he was. And so, shout out to him and Arvell Reese. Caleb Downs, we all know what that is. Thorpe Award, baby. Second team, Carnell Tate, well deserved. Sonny Styles, and I saw some people say Sonny Styles might have gotten snubbed. Guys, he was never gonna get that over Jacob Rodriguez. That was just not gonna happen. Jacob Rodriguez had his season was too insane. Now, Sonny Styles isn't gonna get drafted before he does. That's a fact, and so will Arvell Reese. But yeah, really cool to see those two do that. Unless anybody in the in the comments or in the chat can tell me, I don't know if in my lifetime, and I'm 32, I can't think of a time where Ohio State had even two, because we used to play with three linebackers, but two of their linebackers being All-Americans, especially second team and first team. So yeah, really impressive right there. Really proud of them, especially for Sonny, second team All Big Ten last season. So yeah. And shout out to my guy Maze Madman. Shout out to my guy Phil, because throughout all off season we used to argue who was better between him and the rest of the linebackers in the Michigan linebacker room. Clearly, we know who it is. And then third team, Julian Sand. Really happy for him. Really happy for him, man. First year starting, redshirt freshman, man. That's very impressive for him. And then the guy who I'm most proud of, Caden Curry. Senior this year. Last year he got to play some, but for most of his career he has been a special teams guy. But we always knew he had a motor on him. Always knew that he could be a really good player for us, for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And man, he just goes out this season and lights the world on fire. Definitely was one of the best defensive ends in the country. And also, this was so cool about this. There's only six defensive ends that get chosen for this. Caden Curry, for the rest of his life, in the 2025 season, he will be seen as one of the top 6 defensive ends to play the sport in this specific season, in this respective season. And that goes for the rest of these guys. And I'm highly proud of them. I'm not surprised by a lot of these. Caden Curry, I am surprised by. Caden Curry, I was surprised by, but that's why I'm so proud of him. A few guys I thought got left out and should have made it, at least on the third team. And again, I think at the offensive line position, it can be very difficult to say who should not be there. I thought that Austin Sarabelt and Luke Montgomery should have been All-Americans this year, whether it be probably like somewhere around second or third team. More likely third team. I thought Luke probably had a good case to maybe be first or second team. And maybe they didn't get it, guys, because of the struggles with the right side of the offensive line. It might have, sometimes it can make the rest of the guys look bad. But I thought Austin Sarabelt, I think he maybe gave up 1 sack this year and maybe 4 pressures, maybe less than that. Luke Montgomery, he's a pancake highlight tape. Every week he was. And on top of that, everyone in college football knows this, but specifically in the Big Ten, Ohio State runs the ball to the left side more times than not. And why do they do that? Because, shout out to Hensman at center, but from Luke Montgomery and Sarabelt, that's a powerful punch right there. And they did great all season. I'm proud of those guys and how they played this year. Of course, they were all Big Ten this season. But, yeah, great stuff right there. Again, first team, Jeremiah Smith, Kaden McDonald, Arvell Reese, and Caleb Downs. Second team, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles. Third team, Julian Sand, and Caden Curry. Well, again, everybody, thank you for being here right now on Hostile Voice College Football. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Also, hit that hype button. If you haven't before, if you don't know what that is, that hype button helps us get in the algorithm, does a lot for us. Also, just as the like button, subscribe button does for us. Also, if you would like to become a member here at Ohio State Voice College Football, hit that join button, and you can see our memberships at the Block O Club, JT Wasn't Short, and We Don't Give a Damn, and you know the rest. Few comments here I want to check out. Shout out to Troy V. He says AJ and Bobby were All-Americans. Think Bobby was third team, but still was in the realm. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And honestly, when I said that, I thought, man, I hope I'm not wrong here. I hope I'm not, because I was like, if there was ever a year that it happened, it would have to be that year. My dad actually, Troy, if you guys remember that season, 2004, 2005, I believe, 2005, they had Sports Illustrated had it was Ohio State, I think LSU and somebody else, maybe Miami, but on the cover they had Carp, Schlegel, and AJ Hawk on the cover. So yeah, that's but yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, Don, you're early. Yeah, man. Real quick, while I got time, the reason I'm starting the show so early today, everybody. It is my father's birthday today, and my namesake, of course. My name is Garrison Dean. His is Arlen Dean. Our first names, and hey, Dad, happy birthday. Love you. I know you watched the show, and I really thank you for your support there. Thank you for supporting life, and even more so, I thank you for being the father you are. And I also gotta thank you for getting that degree at Ohio State and making sure that I'm a Buckeye from birth to my death. So yeah, again, Dad, happy birthday and love you very much. Shout out to Daniel Henry being here, OHIO. And yes, Jam, you are correct. The AP, the AFCA, the FWAA, Walter Camp, Sporting News, all out right now. So you guys should definitely go check that out. Jam, thank you for pointing that out to everybody in the chat. And hey, Don, thank you. I'll let them know you said that, man. Happy birthday to the OG. Yeah, man. He the first thing he texted us this morning was, "Hey, I'm not 60 yet, so I'm not old." So yeah, man. He's doing well, man. He's healthy and doing well. But before we continue, everybody, quick message here from the voice of college football. Of course, if you do like to gamble, please make sure you are 21 and older. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, that is 1-800-GAMBLER.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the voice of college football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the voice of college football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click Join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
So before we get to our next topic, I do want to talk about something short here. Some injury rumors happening right now, specifically surrounding one of our right guards, Tera Tshibola. The rumors are that a lot of his play over the season or during the last few games of the season have been due to an injury. Of course, if that is true that he is injured, hope and pray nothing for the best of him. Hope he gets healthy. Now, just speculating on the rumors, do I believe that is why? That the reason for his play? No. Of course, I think he has looked the same since last season. Outside of the playoffs, but just talking about what that means for the Ohio State offensive line, of course, I would assume that Gabe Vincicle is going to be the guy to start. And at a time like that rumor is true, then this is not the time for it to happen, but this is the best time for it to happen in terms of Ohio State having that first game bye, and being able to integrate him with the first team before the playoffs start. Of course, Ohio State is going to see, these are the best teams in the country playing the playoffs right now, minus James Madison and Tulane. But I think it's truly important to get those reps for him. Of course, he has had first team reps throughout the season because he did start a game about 3 games ago. But yeah, I'm really excited for Gavin Sickle. Of course, as you guys all know, he's from my area in West Michigan, not far from my hometown, and he's from Coopersville. So no, I'm really excited for him. Now on the other side of that, that does take away some of the depth that we have at that position. Of course, Josh Padilla has been gone for some time with an injury. And so then you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, where do you go after that? Of course, there are other guys in that room, but man, you just gotta hope that these guys stay healthy because I don't think Ohio State, specifically with what's going on that right side of the offensive line, you can afford another injury on that position. Now, Gavin Sickle has been great in pass protection. Of course, in the run game, he's got to get a little bit better. That comes with time. But and then also, I mean, if something were to happen, knock on wood, I mean, you probably have to move Luke Montgomery to the right side and things of that nature and see what happens there. But yeah, man, just hope everybody gets healthy. Of course, this is not the time of the year where we need that because coming up soon here, we have two teams that have pretty good defensive lines, and that's who we're going to talk about real quick. And I want to talk about this Miami and Texas A&M game just for a quick second here. I'm actually really excited to watch this game because I think both these teams pose something for that Ohio State hasn't seen all season. When it comes to Miami, they have a really good front four. Probably it would be the best front four we have seen next to Indiana's. Of course, Indiana losing one of their best defensive tackle to injury, the freak injury that happened. When he was trying to celebrate with the Indiana Hoosier fans, and he's out for the season. I hope nothing but the best for him, and hope that and pray that he gets better soon and that he's able to get ready for the draft because he is going to get drafted. I've had to tell a lot of SEC guys, everybody on that front four for the Hoosiers, they're going to get drafted. They're going to. But with that being said, you look at Texas A&M. Now, they don't have much of a run defense when it comes to their front four, but they're very fast, very athletic. They get to the quarterback, and so that's something that Ohio State has to see also. On top of that, you talk about the pass game. The explosive pass game that Texas A&M has. That would be the most explosive pass game we've seen all season. Probably the most explosive team we would see all season. Even more so than Indiana. Indiana, of course, they can be explosive, but they're more methodical, kind of like Ohio State is at times. Of course, they have Marcel Reed, one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in college football. Now, again, Ohio State, they against any dual threat quarterback they've had to go against, Ohio State has shut that down and hasn't let quarterbacks run all over them at all. And it hasn't been close to that. They honestly just stopped the quarterback from running no matter who it is. And I think we've gone against the best dual threat quarterback in the country in Demond Williams. And of course we saw that went negative 38 rushing yards, including the sacks. But even when he ran the ball, he didn't get much if you take away the sack adjusted. But a few things I want to point out with these teams playing each other. Of course, Miami, they have 34 points per game, only giving up 13.8. Again, one of the better defenses in the country. The secondary is a little but they're still really good. They give up 176 pass yards per game. And so I think when going against Texas A&M, that's going to be really interesting to see if Texas A&M can expose that. Because in Texas A&M, they have a decent run game, I would say. Of course, they integrate their quarterback with it. They don't have none of their running backs are over 500 yards this year. I think the most is 493. But that's one matchup I really want to see and see if Texas A&M can take advantage of that or if Miami can stop them. Texas A&M, they give up 22 points per game. I've been on this for about a month and a half now. I haven't been big on Texas A&M, and that's not to say that I don't believe that they are a good team. That is me just pointing out that I don't trust teams that give up points like that, especially to be a championship team. I mean, if you look back at the 2000 and 19 LSU team. They gave up around 19, 18 points per game, which for a national champion, that's a lot. But LSU had the greatest offense of all time. So that, of course, that offsets it. But again, Texas A&M, good pass defense, but they can't stop the run. And then this is where I think that this game is going to be decided. And also, I want to know in the chat, let me know in the comments, who do you all believe is going to win this game? Because I have gone back and forth of this. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure who's going to win this game, because I think that Miami has a few advantages, but I also think Texas A&M has some too. Whereas, like, I'll give you an example. Let's say Texas Tech ends up playing Oregon. I think Oregon has distinct advantage in that game where I don't believe Texas Tech can win. Texas Tech it's an okay offense that's bad in the red zone with a quarterback who's not all that great. He's just not. I think when you go against a defense that Oregon has, that puts you at a steep disadvantage. Not to say it'll be a blowout, but you get what I'm saying here. Whereas this game is, in the first round, this is definitely the best game you're going to watch, without question. But this is where I think the game is definitely going to be decided for Miami if they win, because I do lean Miami right now. Miami has forced 18 turnovers this season. That's a lot. That's a shit ton. And then you go to Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed right now is throwing 61.8%. Not that good. That is not that good. He has thrown 7 interceptions in his last 5 games. And in those 5 games, in 3 of those, he has thrown at least 58% or lower. The lowest being 53. And in 2 of those games, he had 2 interceptions. So I think right there, that's probably, yeah, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and say it right now. I think Miami's gonna win this game. I'm not the biggest believer in Marcel, and if Miami can get pressure with that excellent front four that they have, I think that's gonna throw them a curveball. That being Texas A&M. The best defensive front Texas A&M has seen so far will probably be Texas, and we saw how that game went. Now, Texas A&M is home, and Miami has not played. Miami's played on the road 5 times this season, I believe, and they haven't played a tough team in probably 2 months. They haven't played a team like this since Notre Dame. So I wonder if, I heard this, I think it was Tom Fernelli that said this. You wonder if, and it's a good point Tom made, if just like Texas A&M going in before that Texas game where they had about 2 months also of not playing anybody, and then you go and see a team like Texas who's really good, and they got smoked. Does the same thing happen to Miami? Also, this game is in Kyle Field, so Miami is the away team. In Kyle Field, one of the house that Johnny built, Johnny Manziel that is, one of the toughest places to play, one of the great environments in college football. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to see this game. If I had to call it right now, again, I said I'd pick Miami, and I in defense travels, I would probably go Miami 27, Texas A&M 23, around there. So again, I can't trust a team that gives up points, man. If you give it up all the time, then you give it up. Can't say much about you at that point. I think that Miami's definitely gonna pull this game out. So yeah, let's go in here real quick. Don's with me on this also. I think Miami will get them. Aaron, real quick, I'm gonna point this out. He says, so Ethan Anyama is unplayable. Why do we get him in the portal? I'll say this. I don't think Ethan is unplayable. He's just not a guard. And they tried it out, and he didn't grade out well. He just didn't. So I think that's what it is for him. Aaron also says Miami would be the biggest team we play all year. That's a fact. That front four is huge. But I also think, Aaron, if we were to play Miami, that might be in our advantage. I think against Indiana, what that showed was that we struggle. Our offensive line struggles against stunts, and I think that's because we haven't seen it a lot this year. Specifically, they're athletic. I think they're more athletic than Miami's is. But you are correct in this. Miami, those are some big guys. They're big, and they're very good at what they do. Uh, Oh yeah, Don, you're not lying about this. It says as long as Carson Beck doesn't sell, I. That's a good point you brought up, Don, because I forgot to bring that up. He sells a lot, and I think the other thing is that Marcel Reed, as of late, has been doing the same. So yeah, I'm really curious on how that's gonna work out, but yeah, I'm with you guys on that. Miami's gonna, yeah. Here we go, Jam Miami because I hate the SEC. Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't blame you one bit. I don't blame you one bit for saying that. But yeah, man, I can't wait to watch that game. And it was really fun about is this like Texas A&M might be the better team. We'll find that out. But we are all our individual selves. We're all our individual Buckeyes. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I think for speaking for all of us as Buckeyes, we want Miami because there's just something about Miami there's just something about them that we don't like, and there's something about us that well, we know why they don't like us. We took a national championship from them, and we sent their program down to the depths for a very long time. And also, let's not forget everybody that Duke won an ACC championship before Miami ever did. And yes, Miami still has not won the ACC. To end the show here, though, everybody. Of course, I'm only going a little bit short here because I gotta go celebrate my father's birth. I want to point. This is something I want to talk about here, and of course, it's not necessarily talking about the Sharon Moore situation. That is what it is. I'm not gonna harp on that anymore at the moment because I do think I was talking to a Michigan a guy, someone that has a Michigan show also last night, and we talked for about an hour and a half. I think Saturday we were on the phone late at night just talking about football. But we were talking about how we believe some Wolverine fans don't understand actually what their program, the situation they're currently in, right? And I was listening to Ant Wright earlier. If you guys don't know who Ant Wright is, he's an ex-content creator. He's a really good follow. You should definitely go follow him on X if you don't already. He's a Michigan fan. But he had a space today, and he was basically... Because Ant gets information, but he was trying to talk without giving up too much or saying anything specific. But you could tell he was very worried about the state of the program and where it's going, and also the state of the athletic department. But there was an article that I saw on X. And again, everybody, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you share it. Hit that hype button so you get us in the algorithm. But I want to share this with you all. Because it speaks to how pompous, arrogant, Frackle, a lot, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of this fan base is, and even more so the Michigan media. And when you read this, it's going to blow your mind. So let's read this here together, everybody. It says, is Michigan, this is from MGO blog, submitted by Walter White 88. Says, is Michigan unique in the amount of scandals, or are other big time programs just better at hiding them? It reads, is Michigan as uniquely scandal ridden as an athletic program as it seems, or are other programs just better at hiding their dirty laundry? See, that right there is aggravating because I can understand where that comes from. I can understand because I like I said with the whole scandal thing they had, I said, listen, other programs do their own type of cheating in any other type of way you want to talk about it. The difference is we're not dumb enough to get caught, right? But it continues to read, I don't have any proof of this, so this is mainly feelings ball. But I feel like other big time programs like OSU, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, etc. have lockstep agreement within every level of their departments and within their media members to not leak things out, to not say bad things about the program, to cover things up, etc., etc. Okay. Another problem with saying that. You had Michigan beaten Ohio State. Everybody knows that this would never come out. This what happened last week would have never came out. Never would have. And you wouldn't be doing a full department investigation right now. So it's not about hiding things. You tried to hide it. That is a fact. So you can't say we're better at hiding. If you want to say we're better at hiding it, sure. You can't say we're covering up things though. You would have in fact done that yourself. That's again the holier than thou narrative that they push. Meanwhile, Michigan's athletic department has leaks coming all the time. Moles who seem to have a vendetta against Michigan and or the AD. Oh, all right. Let's see if I get to this next part. Various media entities that are constantly negative about the program, despite that Nick Baumgartner claims, and the U of M also seems more transparent and forthcoming about issues as they occur, because that's what Michigan does, which is also why they make an easy target for the NCAA. What the fuck are we talking about? I want for those that don't know, for those who do not know, Michigan's ex-hockey coach during COVID was printing off fake COVID cards for players, and also had a toxic environment for women and harassment. With it being known, Michigan still let him stay throughout the season and didn't get rid of him till damn near a year later. But we continue. Forthcoming, okay, which is also why they make it easy target for the NCAA. All of which makes it seem like Michigan's athletic department is a dumpster fire. That it is. Even if this was true, it doesn't excuse all the scandals during Ward's tenure. But I also feel like Michigan is being unfairly criticized for the amount of scandals when other big-time programs may have a fair amount of scandals themselves that are swept under the rug. Anyway, do you all think there's any truth to this, or am I off my rocker? You are. Should I be sent to Bolivia? Yes, you should. Look, man, just wow. And it's crazy because you can't sit here and say that you guys take ownership of these things when in all reality you don't. And whoever Walter White 88 is, I mean, I find it kind of sissy that you don't want to put your name on your own article. But yeah, it's amazing to me. And let's be very clear here. Let's go down the timeline here. Ewell and him trying to meet up, getting caught trying to meet up with a little kid. Matt Weiss, who at the time was a co-offensive coordinator with Sharon Moore, got picked up by the feds and is currently still being under an investigation for hacking female student athletes' phones. Or I don't know, I think it was phones or something, but it's true, he's hacking them. And he was doing that inside of Schembechler Hall, their facility. You had the scandal, you had the recruiting violations. I told you guys about the hockey coach. You got Juwan Howard, who can't keep his hands off coaches, and in that, his own players can't keep their hands to themselves. Then you have this whole scandal. Like, guys, you can't... What you can't do and say, hey, babe, I know I'm cheating on you, but go see what Bob and Eric are doing to their wives. You don't get to do that. That's not how the real world works. Like you gotta own up to it, and I think what the problem is. Hey, day one, man, what's going on? Good to see you here, man. I think what the problem is that us Ohio State fans, right? We are perfectly aware of what our program is. Woody punched a Clemson player. Um, uh, Jim Tressel, as much as a good man he is, he lied to the NCAA. It is what it is. Everybody has their own feelings about Urban Meyer. So it's not like Ohio State is not used to this. That's why when we get caught up in stuff, we don't crash out. We don't cry about it. We know what our program is. It's big time college football. It is what it is. But I think what the problem is that when you as a institution, as a department, and as an alumni and fan base, when you act sanctimonious and then you get popped in the face with something like this, it's hard to deal with. And I get it. I truly do. But it is what it is. Oh, wait a second. What am I laughing here? Tell me Walter White isn't the most white name without saying Walter White is the most white name, T-Ton name you ever heard of. That's good. Oh man, Walter White, you get comment of the night. You get the comment of the night. That's hilarious. Oh man, but look, everybody. We at the Voice of College Football, we bring up great content again. A lot of content that we have here, whether it be on our website, whether it be on the page itself. If you want to get sponsored, get your business product service or product or personal brand posted here. We would love to be partners with you and hope to grow your brand as we are currently doing ours. Everybody here in the chat, appreciate you. Love talking to you again. Next week we'll be back here at 7 p.m. Sorry about it. Had to be here. Gotta go for my dad's birthday. Again, Dad, shout out to you. If you haven't already, everybody, again, please hit that like button. Hit the share button. Share it on your social media, your Facebook page. If you're from the state of Ohio, if you're anywhere else and you know Ohio State fans, hit that hype button. Whether you're watching it now or you're watching it later after the live stream. Again, appreciate you all. Can't wait to talk to you on the call-in show. And as always, OH, IO.